that courier isn't here in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to turn his skull into I don't know, a coat hanger, perhaps. Regardless, it'll be funny. Oh, there you are. Pray tell, what took you so long? Never mind. I don't care. I presume this person meets all my requirements. I needn't remind you that you're quite lucky to be alive after failing me once. You won't survive a second mistake. No groveling. For now, just leave us. So, here you are. It was quite difficult to find you. Well, difficult for my servants. If I were to demean myself to such a menial task, well, quite frankly, I could have found you in minutes. Regardless, I certainly hope you were worth the wait. We have much to do, my new servant. Ah, my. Isn't that intriguing? Funny. I don't recall giving you permission to speak. However, I will forgive you. Once. Because speaking freely is necessary for your task. But always remember whose presence you're in. I'm sorry. I could have swore I misheard you. I could have sworn you just called me the evil king. I'm certain that's not what you said, because not even the lowest of lowly commoner like you could possibly be foolhardy enough to call me by such a spiteful nickname. I thought so. Just so we're clear and concise, my proper title is King of Geralt, Emperor of the Great Abyssal Empire, and Most High Sorcerer. For the sake of brevity, you may address me as Your Magnificence. And, when speaking to me in private, you may call me Master. Excellent. Come closer. I want to get a good look at you. I must say, you're quite pleasing to the eye. The last advisor they brought me was horrible to look at. An absolute boorish oaf. What? Yes, an advisor. Are you telling me you weren't told why you were here? I see. He was in too much of a hurry. That's too bad. He had almost redeemed himself. You there, God. For God's sake. On the right, you blithering moron. With the red hair. Oh my God. Find that courier and throw him to my chimera. It's been nearly a week since the poor thing had human flesh. A diet of beef and mutton is hardly fitting for one of my creations. Ah. God, before you go, have the chimera tamer save the courier's skull. I need a new hanger for my coat, you see. Now, I suppose I will have to explain exactly what you're here for. I have recently found myself in need of a diplomatic advisor. My God, just the thought of needing someone so unskilled is beyond me. Well, I suppose I should tell you more. Ever since I seized the crown of Geralt and started building my empire, I've mainly relied on strength. My magical potence is far-reaching, and of course, everlasting. With that, I've amassed the mightiest army in the world. For the longest time, I'd never imagined I'd need anything else. But you see, recently, I've had a rival. Carola, the great witch who holds power, similar to my own, was crafting a competing empire, but she made too many enemies too quickly. And, well, a group of nations allied together, and they're currently in the process of dismantling her domain. Piece by bloody piece. And I'm, well, becoming increasingly concerned once they're finished with her, they'll turn to me next. So, I'll need to learn to play nice with the leaders of this new alliance. Oh, no. Don't misunderstand me. I have no intention of becoming friends with that troop of chest-beating apes. I simply just need to buy myself enough time to take them all out at once. My goal is to build a global spanning empire that amasses every land and every race. Anything or anyone who stands in my way is already dead already. I've sent my courier, may he rest in pieces, to fetch someone who is well known in being likable. And it sounds like the people in your little hobble of a village have quite a lot of good things to say about you. I trust that you'll be more suited to helping me win the hearts of my enemies. I expected that, as a response. I'd be careful about false modesty, servant. It won't get you anything pleasant from me. Now that you're here, you'll be serving me one way or another. And, quite frankly, advisor is the best option for you. The next best position would probably... let me think. Oh, I know. A caretaker for my chimera. It wouldn't be a very pleasant job, but at least it'd be open soon. Everyone, except me, of course, slips up at some point, and chimeras, much like myself, aren't well known for being forgiving. But if you really think you're not capable of being my advisor, then... there we are. That's better. I'm glad to see you're not a stubborn one. Stubborn servants don't tend to last very long. So, I'd imagine the first thing I should be doing is sending them a message to convince them that I'm not a threat. Does that sound right to you? Good. I thought so. That desk over there is for you, complete with writing supplies. Do not say I am not a generous king. Sit down and make use of them. I will dictate the message to you. However, you have the unique privilege of interrupting me if what I'm saying doesn't seem friendly enough. You do know how to write, don't you? Wonderful. Now, let's see. To the so-called Eastern Kingdom Alliance. What? Already? Well, don't be daft. What did I say? Well, if I recognize their alliance as legitimate, aren't I implying that they're doing the right thing? This so-called alliance of theirs, no matter how paltry and pompous it may be, is nothing more than the cowardly instinct of the weak to huddle... Now that I'm saying it out loud, I can see how it could be taken as hostile. So, remove the so-called. Alright. To the distinguished Eastern Kingdom Alliance. Ugh. Gag me. Allow me to be the first to congratulate you on each member nation's decision to gang up on... No, you don't even need to say it. I heard it as soon as it came out of my mouth. Ugh. On their decision to unite against an enemy of peace. Ugh. I'm starting to genuinely feel ill. I'm not even kidding. God's sake. Anyways, moving on. I'd wish to take this opportunity to remind you that while my actions might resemble those of Carolyn the Great Witch, my intentions are entirely different. The several nations I have conquered are lazy, self-destructive yahoos who needed a guiding hand. Alright, fine then. Lazy, self-destructive barbarians who... Oh, come now. That is 100% true. You cannot deny that. You were all worthless before I came along. I mean, you're still quite worthless indeed. But now, you can pretend that you're slightly more important, being the subjects of the world's greatest sorcerer. They won't see it that way. Blah, blah, blah. They won't see it that way because they're all morons. This is much harder than I thought it would be. Maybe I'd have better luck with seduction instead. I mean, some of the leaders are male, but that hasn't stopped me before. Well, even if I did choose to say something different, how would I convince those self-righteous idiots that my conquests have all been justified? Watch it. I didn't hire you to question my morality. I hired you to make me look good. Well, look innocent. I always look good. So, I'm waiting. How do I explain the several wars I've waged on these so-called innocents? You don't know? Then why are you here? Ugh. I should have known a commoner like yourself wouldn't have the brains to understand politics. Too bad I killed anyone with any leadership skills. Ugh. Oh well. Gods. Oh, don't bother groveling. Well, you can grovel a little, as unbecoming as it may be. But if I were you, I wouldn't be insisting that I didn't do anything wrong. If I were you, I'd be explaining how I'd be able to serve better in the future. Wait a moment. If I were you... Is that what you friendly types always say? Really? Pretend you were like them, and think about what you would want to hear. I see. It's a neat little trick. Interesting. I may have solved my own problem. I don't have to justify my conquests. If I were them, I wouldn't believe a single thing I said. I'd want to know how I'd change. Ugh. Perhaps you'll be useful to me after all. As a sort of inspiration, if nothing else. And I suppose you did have some useful insights earlier. All right. I'll keep you after all. Gods, away with you. Now, we need to finish that letter at some point, but personally, this whole thing has me exhausted. We have plenty of time to work later. For now, let's take a break and have dinner. It will give us a chance to get to know each other outside of work. I trust you have nowhere else to be. Of course you don't. I'm only joking. For now. The only place you ever need to be is, well, wherever I want you to be. The only thing you need to do is follow my orders. Isn't that nice? You can leave all the thinking to your king. Sometimes I wonder why so few people appreciate that. But you're happy to let me handle things, aren't you? Very good, very good. Oh, you know, I haven't thought of a name for you yet. No, not your name. Do you really think I can be bothered to learn everyone's names? Please. A title, perhaps? Servant? Oh, but I have many servants. Advisor? No. That's too informal. Let me see. Perhaps sometimes, but I want to call you something less formal and one of the rare occasions I'm in a good mood. Helper? Yes, I like that. You're my little helper. That's what I'll call you from now on. Come along, little helper. Let us see what the cooks have in store for us today, shall we?